Hey, what's up you guys, Loyal here. Season 3 of Diablo 4 is upon us, so I wanted to make another build video. Obviously, I'm going with the druid on Season 3, and yeah, it's gonna be different. It's gonna be werewolf druid, and I'm really excited to do it. And let's see, hopefully it's better than what I hoped for. And I think in some sense, I think there might be a problem with it. Like always in my builds, there's the defense problem. So, here's the build. We start with the legendary prime slot of helmet, which is the Harlequin crest, +4 dual skills and yada yada yada, damage reduction, yada yada yada. So that's all we need. And then we go to our next piece, which is the unique armor piece called Mad Wolf's Glee. Maximum life, poison damage, damage reduction from enemies that are poisoned, movement speed. Werewolf form is now your true form, and you gain 3+2 ranks to all werewolf skills. Then the virulent aspect, when rabies infects an enemy, reduce its cooldown by 0.3 or 0.6 seconds. This cooldown reduction is tripled when infecting an elite. And then we get the vicarious aspect, which is gain 10 to 15% damage reduction while shapeshift into a werewolf. Then we get while unstoppable, which is a coast walker. I think I'm gonna change this really quickly. This is one of the ones that will change most likely, is Coast Walker aspect on the boots. Then aspect of the alpha, your wolf companions are now werewolf companions, which means it's really interesting. Werewolf companions deal X 90 to 115% additional damage and can spread rabies. And the most important part is that spread rabies. Then we have Edge Master's aspect, skills deal up to 10 to 20% to increase damage based on your available primary resource when cast, receiving the maximum benefit while you have full primary resource. And I don't have any spenders, all my skills are cooldown based, so this will be amazing, hopefully amazing skill. Then we have the X-Falls Corrupted Signet, which gives us obviously resistance to all elements, resistance to fire, all stats plus, damage over time plus, lucky hit chance, cooldown reduction, and your damage over time effects have up to 50% chance to erupt, dealing 5 to 6 damage of the same time to nearby enemies, which will be poison. And then Iredar's Inexorable Will, resistance to all elements, lightning resistances, willpower, damage to close enemies, lucky hit chance, ultimate skill cooldown reduction when casting an ultimate skill, and gain 5 seconds after, and again 5 seconds after you pull in a distant enemies and deal X physical damage to them. This damage is increased by X 1% per 1 point of willpower you have. And I always have maximum willpower, so it's gonna be interesting. Or actually, it's not maximum. That's spirit, fuck. But still, either case. Then aspect of the Stampede is another one on offhand. Aspect, gain 1 additional companion. In addition, your companion skills deal 16 to 26% bonus damage. And this is really good because this gets 100% more percents on this. So it means hopefully it's from 32% to 40, 50, 52%. So it's going to be interesting. Then we have, obviously, because we have a poison build, damage over time on weapons, then ruby on armor, and then diamonds on the jewelry. Then we go to the seasonal theme. We have Tempest, which is electrically charge an enemy, causing it to deal damage to themselves and addition to each second over time. If the enemy is killed, Tempest spreads to another enemy, gaining 4 additional time and bonus damage. These bonuses are also applied if the Tempest is reapplied onto the same enemy. Now we want to spread this more. So obviously the support skill can hit 10 additional enemies. Then we want to get more stuff out of it. So obviously +4 to all skills when using when this is used. And then duration. Support's duration skills have their duration increased by 4.4 seconds. So it's gonna be interesting to have these all at once on the Tempest. Then as a physical we have, or a melee, we have a slash. Pummel enemies in front of a celestial construct dealing damage. Support skills gain a critical strike damage bonus. The supported skills will cause the celestial construct to teleport to the target if out of range, can only occur once every so often seconds. And then when used, the supported skill grants damage reduction to you. So I wanted that because every build that I make has one itsy bitsy problem, and that usually is that it's a glass cannon. Always a glass cannon when I build it. So now hopefully we can get that off. Then on skills, we have a basic skill called Claw. Obviously that's there. And then we have Decorate as an ultimate. Then we have all the companions and then Rabies. I hope the companions are like a static buff to myself, so I can just keep them and they attack enemies and stuff like that. So I hopefully can do my things all alone and they can support me. With the spirit boons, I went one with the deer, which gives us the berryness. Take 10% reduce damage from elites, that's good. And then I put 2 on the eagle, which means gain increased critical strike chance and gain 30% X critical strike damage. Then with the wolf, I got the pack leader, lucky hits, critical strikes have up to 20% chance to reset cooldowns on your companion skills, which I have plenty of. And then obviously the snake, masochist, lucky hits, critical strikes with shape-shifting skills has up to 75% chance to heal you for 3% of maximum life. And I have 1, 2, and 3. These are all, say, shape-shifting skills. Then, off to the Paragon skill tree. On the skill tree, obviously Claw 5, and then to the Wild Claw, we put 3 on Predatory Instinct, and then 3 to Ancestral Fortitude, and then 1 on Vigilance. Then 5 to all companions, and with the wolf we go to the Brutal Wolf, and with the Poison Creeper we go to Brutal Poison Creeper, and with the Ravens we go to Furious Ravens. And 3 to Call of the Wild. Your companion skills deal 30% bonus damage. Then the Rapies, obviously 5, and we go to Natural Rapies, and then I might change it to Savage Rapies, maybe later, I don't know, depending on few stuff, how it works and how does it work better with that or that. And then 5 to Neurotoxin, poisoned enemies are also slowed by 24%, 4 to Envenom, poisoned enemies take 30% additional critical strike damage, and then Toxic Claw, critical strikes with werewolf skills deal 23% of their base damage as poisoning damage over 4 seconds. Then with the ultimate we go with Decorate, and it gives us, with Supreme Decorate, we get that. And then obviously the passive will be Lupine Ferocity, with the 6th werewolf skill hit critical strikes and deals 70% X increased damage, increased to 140% X against injured enemies, so that's gonna be really important. Then we go to the Paragon board. I had to change this a little bit. So we're gonna go first to Prime and then to Werewolf over there as a glyph. So every willpower purchased in the you deal 6% increased damage while you're in werewolf form. You gain 10% damage reduction while in werewolf form. That's to keep it, you know, viable and alive. Then we go to Resolve and Impale, and then Tenacity. Get all of these. And then we go to Natureborn, and then to Bane Glyph, which is for every 5 intelligence purchased within the range you deal 10% increased poison damage. Poison damage effects have a 10% chance to deal double the damage over their duration. So that's going to be a key part of the build. Then we're going to get the rare Overturn, 10% damage to poisoned enemies and 16% damage to elites. And then damage to poisoned enemies again on toxic poison, and then 4% poison damage. Then that's just resistances, and that is also resistances. And then we get the legendary node Heightened Malice. While there are 3 or more poisoned enemies nearby, you deal 45% increased damage. And then we go to the tracker. Dexterity purchased in the range, you deal 10% increased damage to poisoned targets. Poisoning effects last 33.3% longer than usual, which is obviously better. As long as they stay, I'm better. I'll keep dealing damage. Then Ferocity, we get Werewolf skill damage and critical strike damage. And then we get to Nimble, which gives us attack speed and damage. And then we go to Shapeshifter, which gives us shapeshifting skill damage 10%, willpower 10. And then we go to Wilds, which gives us our companion skill still 24.8 increased damage. This is the max level, obviously. And the passive portion of companion skill still 120x% increased damage, which will be interesting to see. That was my build for Season 3 as when it starts today. But I think in a long sense, I think it's gonna change a lot, and you will see the changes after. And yeah, it's gonna be interesting. All my builds will be at Diablo 4 builds.gg, but I'll put the link down below so you can find this as soon as this video is uploaded. But remember to like, subscribe, and comment on the video. What is your build for Season 3?
Cold tiles, my feet against the door. How long have I been in this space? Arms over eyes, help me retrace. How did I become the doormat here? Memories spinning around my head seem pretty cavalier. Little by little you take control.